Hoggie's beer reviews. Hoggie's beer reviews. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another one of Hoggie's beer reviews. I'm doing something I don't usually do. I am kind of re-reviewing a beer. That's why I'm calling this Ruination Revisited. Because as you can see here, with this 4-pack now, we have today's beer, the Ruination IPA from Stone Brewing. The reason I'm revisiting this, and there's kind of a backstory to this review. If anybody watched my last review, which was the Goose Island IPA, I kind of went off and rambled a bit on that one. So forgive me, I might do that again, because there's a little something behind this, and it's the reason that I'm re-reviewing a beer, something I do not really like doing. See, the thing is, Ruination, I reviewed back in 2009. If you go back to my channel and you go back to my old videos with my crappy camera, with my crappy audio, and you know, me and my wife and I's first crappy little apartment with that, you know, mango green wall, you'll see, you know, digging through there, you'll see my review of Ruination. It was one of my early reviews, and it was one of the first IPAs that I truly fell in love with. I truly thought it was a great beer, and all through the ass end of 2009 and all of 2010, I drank a lot of Ruination. When I was living in Vero Beach, my buddy Howie, who's the manager of Hurricane Wings, he got Ruination on tap, and the wife and I drank a ton of Ruination on tap. And let me tell you, it was great on tap. But I also bought a lot of bombers of Ruination, but because in 2009 in Miami and 2010 up in Vero Beach, you know, places I was living at the time, it was easy to find bombers of Ruination. And even though I think generally speaking, bombers in Florida, 22-ounce bombers of craft beer, you know, IPAs or whatever, I think generally they're overpriced for what they are. Ruination tended to be one of the more reasonably priced ones. It was in the $5 range of bomber of Ruination. You know, 7-point-something%, hoppy, tasty, really good IPA in a 22-ounce, grab it and go. It was beautiful. Between that and having it on tap at Hurricane Wings, I drank a lot of it. And then all of a sudden, it disappeared. You know, in late 2010, I moved back down to Miami. In early 2011, I moved up to Hollywood, and I couldn't find it. I wasn't seeing it on the shelves. And when I did find it, it was a lot more expensive. The bomber was almost in the $10 range now. So obviously I stopped buying it. And I actually mentioned in a video some time ago that I was going to be boycotting Stone's beers because their beers all kind of, you know, across the board went up in price. I never understood why. I do understand the logistics of it. They're coming from Southern California. I live in South Florida. It's a long ways to get here. Distribution channels are a difficult thing for some of these small breweries. So I figured it was something along those lines. And I pretty much stopped drinking Stone's beers because of the price and because of availability. Well, over the last few months, Ruination has kind of made a comeback at my local Total Wine. Except before, Ruination used to be sold in 6-packs. They were ridiculously priced. You know, the 6-pack of Ruination used to be like in the 15+ range even, you know, 3 years ago. You know, it was like the Oaked Arrogant Bastard. See, the regular Arrogant Bastard was standard price. The Oaked Arrogant Bastard was like a $15, $16 6-pack. While I think that price is ridiculous, it's the Oaked version. I can understand it being pricier. I never understood why the Ruination 6-pack was also that ridiculously high in price. Well, now they don't make it in 6-packs. Now they have it in 4-packs. And they're still ridiculously priced. I think that was like a $14 4-pack that I picked up a while back, and I only picked it up to try the beer again. It's got some slight cosmetic changes. It's got more of a yellow thing going on there now. Now it says Double India Pale Ale. I don't think it used to say that, and I'm not sure it was always 7.7% because now it's 7.7% ABV. I can't find any evidence saying that it used to be a different ABV, but something in my head says something has changed. So there may have been a recipe change, there may have been something going on at Stone, but it seems kind of different now, and it's been a long time since my original review, so I bought it, and I said, screw it, we're revisiting Ruination. And that's why we're here. So there we have it. Now, I do have the stone glass. There's 2 bottles left in here. I have had 2 of those already, but I had them after having other beers. I wasn't in a reviewing mode, so I still really don't know what to expect from this beer after all this time. Now, speaking of after all this time, I've been rambling for a while. Let's get to the nitty gritty here. You guys know I always do Beer Advocate and rate beer. I don't really read the reviews. I don't put a lot of stake into what anybody online says. But just to give kind of a general consensus of what the masses think of a beer, I give you the numbers. And on Beer Advocate, out of 5,657 ratings, it scores a 96. Categorized as an American Double or Imperial IPA, 7.7% alcohol by volume. And just to kind of show you, there's that. Jumping over to rate beer. Out of a total of 3,080 ratings, it scores a 100 overall. Once again, Imperial Double IPA, 7.7% alcohol by volume. There's that. And there's not much else to say. Like I said, I think something is different. Maybe just the marketing, maybe just the packaging. But I think it may be more than that. I don't know. And if anybody out there has any information that can help me out here, and you'd like to share with everybody, please hit me up, let everybody know, let me know. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. But as far as this goes, I'm just going to drink this beer, man, and just kind of give it a straight up review as a beer I haven't had before, haven't had in a very long time. Ruination IPA, a liquid poem to the glory of the hop. And as always with the Stone beers, 2 big ass paragraphs in the back of the bottle. About 7 minutes already. Sorry for running long on this one, guys. But yeah, a lot of stuff I'm not going to read. Have a beer, have a glass. Let's do it. Have a big lighter, because I like the little Stone gargoyle logo. I want to put that cap on my fridge. Actually, each beer in the 4-pack has a different cap. I thought that was kind of cool. Pop that right off. Leave the lighter there. Leave the cap right there. And let's get to it. It's funny, man. I had this beer originally in 2009. It was one of the first, maybe 5, 6, less than 10. Definitely less than 10. So it was one of the first handful of IPAs I ever had. So I think it's kind of fair now to review it after 3.5 years, and after 100 plus IPAs, and see what it's all about. Now it's not filtered, not completely. I can see through this beer, but there's a bit of a haze to it. That's always good. Head is kind of a bone white, bit frothy, always good. A little bit of carbonation, not much. Color wise, it's almost the color of a wheat beer. It's got kind of like that faded amber kind of color, light amber, orangey kind of thing, a little faded, but it looks good. And amazingly, I'm not really getting a whole lot of hops in the nose. I mean, they're there. Sweet orange, grapefruit, strong citrus notes, and a slight malt undertone. This may be the first review I do that I finally taste the beer at the 9-minute mark. Once again, I apologize for running long, but hey, it happens, right? Anyway, it does smell good. So after all these years, let's give Ruination a fresh taste. Cheers. That's a hoppy beer. As my buddy Jason said, it's one of those beers that's so hoppy it's like a punch in the pee-pee. Yeah. Lip smacking, resinous finish on it. And yeah, it's still hoppy. It's good. I mean, I can't complain. You really just get the bitter resinous to it. It's hard to discern necessarily pine and the different kind of citrus fruits. It's grapefruit, and you get that sour grapefruit puckery kind of effect. Touch of lemon. little sour orange maybe, but you run the spectrum of citrus flavors. There's a mild maltiness to the body. The body is not watery. It's about medium, really, but there's a certain richness to it without having that many strong malty flavors come through. They're just overwhelmed by all the hop bitterness. And of course the finish is more of the same, just that sour, puckery, bitter, grapefruity resin, which in my book is a good thing. Yeah, still a good beer. Still a good beer. I honestly, even though I watched my old review and I remember what I said, I heard what I said, but you cannot go back in time 3.5 years, and remember exactly what that tasted like and compare it to this. There's a little voice in the back of my head that says it's slightly different, but I have no way to prove that, and I could be wrong. It could just be my palate changing, it could be many things. So, as a beer I'm re-reviewing, this is still a glass full. This is still an exceptional IPA. This is still a masterful brew from Stone. Glass full as far as my rating on the beer. Will I be drinking this again? Will I be buying this again? The answer is no. I refuse to pay those prices. There are a myriad of good IPAs that are in the $10 range and less. I could be drinking Terrapin, I could be drinking Torpedo, I could be drinking Snake Dog, I could be drinking Avery. I could be drinking High Life from Cigar City. They're all good, hoppy beers. There is no reason for me to pay. And some of those are 7.7 or more. There's no reason for me to pay this kind of money for 4 beers. So is this a good beer? Yes. Is this worth your hard-earned money? Absolutely not. And to all those craft brewers out there who are starting to charge these ridiculous prices for whatever the reason, you need to stop. Because I personally won't support your product, and I don't think anybody out there who drinks craft beers, who enjoys craft beers, who enjoys a good IPA, I don't think they should either. There's too many other options on the table. You may have been around for my review of the Sculpin IPA from Ballast Point. They recently arrived in South Florida, and for whatever reason, the other 6-packs of Ballast Point's beers were in the $10 range, and the Sculpin IPA was $15 for a 6-pack. Unnecessary, ridiculous. I will not pay it. I suggest you don't as well. Same applies to Stone. But the beer itself is good. Of course, like I said in the Sculpin video, unless there are flecks of actual gold floating in the beer, or a genie that's going to come out of the empty bottle and blow me when I finish the beer, it's not worth that kind of money. I don't care how good it is. It's just not worth the premium, because there's other beers that are standard price that are the same or better. So with that said, I'll still say that this is an exceptional brew, and I'll leave you guys. I've rambled enough. Probably one of my longest beer reviews ever. But once again, it's not a regular review. It is a revisit of Ruination. And I'll just say, well, I've said everything I have to say, so I'll just say goodbye and get the hell out of here, all right? Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, it's Hoggie's Beer on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and hoggiesbeer.com whenever I finally finish putting it together with a collection of all my 300 reviews linked up and ready for your viewing or reading pleasure. I'll leave it at that. Once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next one. Subscribe, rate, comment, like, thumbs up, all that good stuff. And take care of yourselves. Drink good stuff, but reasonably priced good stuff. All right? Cheers.